Hi, I'm Nathaniel Rateliff.
I'm Dallas Green, and together we are separate guys.
Just pals touring across the world together, I've been 4 times.
I've been a lot of times, too many times. I've been between both bands, probably. Yeah, it's just one of those places. Like Nathaniel knows this. It's a place that just paid attention when I was young, and it felt good, and it felt like people were listening. So I just kept going back.
They always seem very receptive all the times that I've been over. And it's a long way to travel to never know what kind of response you're going to get. And then to arrive there and have people excited to see you and know who you are is always, not that like Australia's isolated in the middle of the world. It's always a surprise when you go to another country and people are excited to hear what you're doing. So
I feel pretty similar. Like, I think for me, obviously it goes with just the fact that I've always felt so well received there by the people, and it's continued through so many different chapters of my own life. Just feels like going home or something at this point for me, and so that is my favorite thing about it, that I've somehow still able to go there and that people are interested, and then I can go and like do something like what we're going to come and do with this, my friend Nathaniel, who we've only recently kind of become connected with one another, and to be able to tour across Canada together and go, hey, what do you think about doing this in Australia? And then just being able to do that is really, it's a beautiful thing.
I've had really good times in Melbourne for sure, but I like Sydney as well. And Adelaide's over there as well, right? Sorry, my geography's a little rough, but so excited to see the West Coast again. Because I think, aren't we going over there this time, Dal?
Yeah, for sure. For us being over here, it's such a long way to go. It is. And there's no way around that. It is a long way, but it's only, it's a day. And there's a lot of days where I've spent sitting and doing nothing. And then sometimes... so I take a day and I end up on the other side of the world. But every time I get to go to Western Australia, which is, again, we don't go all the time, there's something for me geographically that's great, because it's like, it's one of the farthest places I can go literally in the world from where I was born. And that to me is just such a trip, being from a town in Canada and finding myself on the other end of the world because I play guitar and sing about my feelings. So as much as I have a soft spot in my heart for just about everywhere in Australia I've been, it's always awesome getting over to Western Australia.
Classic Australian, like Hungry Jack, or what are we talking about?
Tim Tams are a hot commodity, but Hungry Jacks was such a good thing. Tim Tams are definitely a must when you're there. I mean, it just is one of those things, some sort of pie.
I'm always excited to find a violet crumble. When I first had one, it kind of blew my mind. But honeycomb's pretty. That's like a Canadian thing too, so it's not very common in the States, and it's just so painful and delightful to get stuck in your teeth.
The first things we did together when we started touring in Canada was we went shopping together, and it was wonderful.
We both enjoy shopping, that's for sure. Trading clothes, I'm a little bigger than Dal, but there's a couple things that work, so
hey,
I'm trying to get down to your size.
But no, that was a really beautiful thing, was that not only, I think that there was more to it than just like we went shopping. We got to walk and talk, and the whole experience of just like hanging with your bud, going to do something together. That was something that was like, okay, I feel like we learned in that moment that we could actually just spend some time together as like-minded pals, other than being put on a concert bill together. It was just kind of nice to learn a little bit more about who you were.
Same. Yeah. We both love guitars, as you can see behind Dal and behind me. We're both collectors of things. We share a handful of similarities. We like a good meal on a day off. That's always, because show day meals are usually, you're scrambling to not mess up your voice, so yeah, I feel like we have a good bud hang on a day off, maybe. I was trying to convince Dal for us, just me and him, to stay at like really nice hotels the whole time, and then we joked about trying to get a plane for the whole trip. Just stuff that's like not in the budget, but fun ideas to kick around.
We'll brainstorm more about that stuff and figure out ways to actually get to do it. I'm looking forward to just the camaraderie of just like hanging out and joking and talking. And I think something that important for me about doing stuff like this with Nathaniel is that growing up doing this, there was a lot of time where I felt very isolated and very lonely, because that's what the road can kind of bring to you. And I think so much of my life I did spend trying so hard to be doing it that I was forgetting to actually just like be there and appreciate what was happening in the first place. I think when I toured with Nathaniel back in the winter, it was like I'm in a period of my life where I'm trying to be as thankful and present as I can be. And it's nice to have somebody to talk to and check in on and check in with who's kind of going through a similar thing. It's nice to be able to do tours like this where you can feel like you're together or something. Does that make sense, Nathaniel? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, it's an interesting thing to find yourself as a successful musician or artist. Nobody's written like a playbook on it. And so trying to be present and gracious and like grateful for all of that can get kind of lost in the loneliness, even though you're surrounded by people that probably want to talk to you. It also is pretty alienating. And so to be on a road with Dallas is having a similar life experience to me is helpful in a lot of ways. We have the ability to talk to each other without being critical, or I feel like I could tell Dallas something that I may not tell one of my band members. Yeah, I just feel like there's certain things that Dallas would understand a little bit better than some of my oldest friends, which is crazy just because we're living a similar experience in a way that I'm not with a lot of the people I care about. It's so nice to be on tour with your friends, but that can backfire and your crew can have a terrible time. It's really cool when it works out that both crews get along. We had a really big year this year and it was really long, and everybody's looking forward to this as the start of our year again. They're like, oh man, February in Canada was like the easiest tour we've done. It was so nice. And so looking forward to like that again, the sense of camaraderie between, essentially our touring families is just a nice feeling, Hi, I'm Nathaniel Rateliff from the Night Sweats.
And I am Dallas Green from City and Color.
And we are excited to be coming back to Australia, and you can get your tickets at
frontiertouring.com.
Yeah.